Welcome to our broadcast, folks. Let's fight. Good to have each and every one of you here with us, folks. Let's fight. Let's fight. Let's fight. Good to see you guys. How are you doing this evening? Share the live, smash that emoji button as well, please and thank you. Great to have all of you here. What it has been, what a weekend. We hope that you guys are great and well. It's the 10th day of February. Believe it or not, where does the time go? Just now we're at mid-month. Friday is the 14th. Valentine's will be off on Valentine's Day, folks. We'll be off. Don't mind your business. Don't do it. Don't mind our business. We'll be off. That's all you need to know. Hope you guys got somewhere to be as well. It's Valentine's, and if you don't have a Valentine's, don't feel no way. Don't feel no way. You must a lot, but don't feel no way. Your time soon come. But good to have all of you this evening, this 10th day of February. As we said, great to see you folks. Let us know if you're hearing us clearly. You're seeing us clearly, fairly clearly. Lester Williams, Godfrey Montaigne, good to have you there. Good to have all of you wonderful folks with us on the live. I don't know how we say it. You all know how we do it. Really good to see you folks. Let us know how you guys are doing. Share the live for us. We're gonna do the same. Smash that emoji button for us. Don't be bashful now. Please and thank you. Don't be bashful. Share the live liberally so that others get the valuable and credible information. And folks, be sure to partner with us as well, because we wish it were so, but we don't run out of water. We wish it were so. And since we've taken the place of your newspapers and your other news outlets and so on, at least for this hour, at least for this 45 minutes or so, partner with us and keep us going, folks. We are happy that you wonderful folks are here with us. It's a privilege to be here with all of you guys, and let us know how you guys are doing. Pace and power and pace. Nia and Henrik, Bascom and Deborah and Coral. Coral says I done share. Oh. Y'all be like Coral, man. Y'all be like Coral Providence. Penelope Hudson, we see you there as well. Great to have all of you guys here with us. John Jones and Everett and Godfrey Lane. Good to see you, Godfrey. Good to see you. I see, is it Lil Boy? Astrid Schultz is here as well. Parmanan Bihari said, sup. Yeah, that's what they do. Sup, this generation. Lily Gulliver, good to have you there. And Quanamingo, good to have you, Kwana. Let me ring the bell one time for good people like Quanamingo. Pace and power. Good to have all of you on the live this evening, folks. We all know that periodization that we're in. Yeah. This is the period we're in, folks. A lot happening. I heard some behind the scenes of a meeting at GCOM today. Behind the scenes. Leaves a lot to be desired. GCOM. You mean them people, they're going to be in charge of a whole election? The folks there at GCOM? Like, wow. Really? Really now? In charge of a whole entire election. My God. What a beauty. What a beauty, says Gunrat. What a beauty. All the others. They're GCOM. Yep. What a beauty. Good, folks. Elections. The trailing people, listening to your conversation, tapping your phones. They got people park up outside of your house, watching your goings and comings. PPP. Them boys. them boys. Y'all know them. PPP. Yep. You all know that. And that's what Terence Campbell told us. Dr. Terence Campbell, businessman Terence Campbell. He said a park by your house day and night, watching his comings and goings. He said, you gotta be careful though. I heard him throw down the gauntlet, lay down the gauntlet for Jack Neo. He said, testing me. You see this prime minister thing? You all need to offer the man the thing, man. Don't let's lie. We're big people. We are big people. We ain't gonna lie. Elizabeth Williams, that's so. But you're gonna knock me. Sharon Castillo said the stinking dirty. True story that. Colin Solomon, Kurt Heineken. We's big people. Can we level up? Please and thank you. PPP. You all know them too well. You all know them too well. You know the whole thing. Too well. My PPP. Terrence said of following him. Watching his every mood. Who goes, who comes. And the Spanish girls. Take a look. Take a listen.
Terence Campbell does not speak an idle word in the public domain. If you and I are having a private conversation, Marvin, I might explore possibilities for which I don't have concrete evidence. But once I speak in the public domain, I have concrete evidence. And Mr. Jagdeo has nuanced this last response, because indeed the conversation took place before my declaration in January 2019 that the reason I was joining ANOG was to ensure that the PPP did not return to power.
That was Dr. Terence Campbell responding to comments that the PPP never approached him to be the prime ministerial candidate.
And when we look at Mr. Jagdeo's action, since he has returned to power, anybody in this country would understand why I took the position that I would put my efforts towards ensuring he did not return to power. I'm sorry I didn't put more efforts into it, but just ANOG was not the correct vehicle.
He insisted that he was asked to be the running mate. He said that the offer is in black and white. He said that Demerara Waves has a copy.
I'm disappointed that Mr. Cabral did not challenge Mr. Jagdeo at the time and say, well, we have a receipt. But the Demerara Waves is in possession of that receipt. And that's why the Demerara Waves made the statement saying evidence has surfaced in the public domain.
Mr. Campbell said that there are important policy issues to be tackled in Guyana. He said that he didn't want to further distract from those issues. One of these issues is the weaponization of the private groups and the police.
The NRF, the agriculture sector, the health sector, the education sector. I want to focus on those issues. But I will say this. Marvin. In order to avoid a back and forth over the prime ministerial issue, I'm saying without fear of contradiction, and a discussion was had. During the discussion, I said, I am not interested. I'm interested in constitutional reform. That there is a receipt. That was a discussion prior to the comment that Mr. Jagdeo likes to refer to, where I said that I want to prevent the PPP returning to power.
Mr. Campbell reiterated his lack of fear for Jagdeo and his regime. He said that there are those who see one being placed in handcuffs and taken before the courts as a badge of honor for those who confront the government.
I don't care all the threats that Mr. Jagdeo is issuing, right? He can issue as many threats as he wants. I am saying to him, I am leaving that matter to rest. If he wants to continue on that subject, I'm challenging him. I will say where I was when I was visited, and I was visited like Nicodemus in the night. There are witnesses to the visit. I will say where the discussions took place. I will say what we drank, and I will then produce the receipts. And Mr. Jagdeo should leave if he got any sense. Let me say, monkey must know which limb to jump on.
I love it. I love it. Monkey. Monkey, monkey, monkey. It's a metaphor, of course. Is it a simile? What is he explicating there? Monkey, monkey, monkey. Them to jump on, folks. It's a truism. There's a truism there. If you know, if he has any sense. All right, Terrence, you can lose you now. You can step in. You can run to front now. Folks, election 2025 is upon us. How y'all doing? Paulette Devonish. Grace Noel says, pimp him. Sheila Boy Child way there. Folks, we talk a little bit about pumping tonight. Y'all know we pumping in this country. Pumping. We ain't producing the guts, though. We're pumping oil. We're supposed to be pumping water. In that regard, we're not doing so well. And we're going to be talking about some pump stations tonight. Damn it. Millions upon billions of dollars being given out in contracts. What have we to show for it? What have we to show for it, Dolly, Avril, Gail, Richards? What have we to show? My God. So we're going to be talking with the Shadow Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, Ganesh Mai Paul, about that. But before we get there, folks, a couple other things I want us to touch on, and then we can come around. That's right. A lot happening. Trump, my Lord, Trump, never dull moment. What a beauty. What a beauty. Never, ever a dull moment with Trump. Nobody asks Trump a question. You all know those memes? Nobody. And then you see a comment. Trump says that he does not view J.D. Vince. He does not view his current vice president, J.D. Vance, as his successor in 2028. Oh, you barely just put up the curtain. Why you bother about 2028? Huh? Why you bother about 2028? Maybe we should be as bothered. Maybe we should be bothered. You see, he doesn't see J.D. Vance as a success in 2028. You all agree with him? You all agree with him? Folks, just some of the things. Just some of the things we follow. John Jones. I see you there, John Jones. Joe Adrian. Pinky, Deborah, Ethelene, Desiree. All the other folks. Folks complaining about sound. And we got no song. Yeah, we got a song. Deborah, good to see you. Jennifer Alert, good to see you on the line tonight, Jennifer. Angela Jordan, good to see you there. All the other folks, Alson Jones, Brenda, Karen, Joy Dotson. Joy, how are you doing? Joy is joining us from far way off. Good to see you on the live, Joy. Good to see you on the live. You all know how we did. Once we come into 592. America now too. Gotta play it for America now. They got a lot of stuff happening there, folks. A lot. We see this partnership as we are in the US of A. Never dull moment. I hope them boys know what they're signing up for. I hope they know. But it's a partnership between Guyana and the United States of America to enhance security. Why us? Why us? I thought we had it covered. Orphan Ali, he has announced a collaboration between the United States government to enhance security, listen to this, at the country's ports of entry by introducing advanced scanners capable of detecting undeclared and prohibited items. Now, this is interesting. Because you all know we scanners don't greet you well. I remember one particular instance where the Belgium authorities intercepted tons of cocaine coming from Guyana. An investigation was launched. They said the photographs were deleted from the scanner. They took it someplace, like the black box from the helicopter that crashed that killed the 5 JDF soldiers, servicemen. But in the case of the scanners, they said they've got back some photographs, hundreds, if not thousands of photographs, but they never were able to pinpoint who touched the scanner and who were the intellectual authors who had shipped the thousands, the tons of cocaine to Belgium. So when I hear about scanners and being able to detect, they're only going to work if you plug it in and turn it on. If every time things got to pass, people plug it out and pull back. People pull out so that things could pass. We ain't going to go too far. Good folks. We're not going to go too far at all. So we got to be careful. I'm happy. I welcome such a partnership because the less things pass and the more we're going to be protecting our people. And you see, this is what is needed. We have got to protect our people. Somebody letting the cocaine pass. Whatever happened to the photographs and the scanner and the people who were on duty at that time? Y'all see, once we come into 592, partnerships are good. Folks, it is what it is. And as we on security, you know, you got security men with big guns scanning this and that. And the more you look, the less you see. The more you look, the less you see. This is what I want to get to. Because they're telling us bandits robbed the supermarket at Cummins Lodge. Where Hickens? Where them boys? This is the Titan supermarket at Cummins Lodge. 2 bandits escaped with thousands in cash. They said this occurred around 3:51 hours. The suspects arriving on motorcycles, always, allegedly using fake guns. My God. Things that take down everybody's kind of afford real guns. You understand where we are? Nothing is sacred anymore. Nothing. So one assailant, listen to this, with a fake gun, disarmed the security guard. That security guard is like the scanner. Stole his firearm. With a fake gunman. Stole his firearm. The other assaulted the cashier before taking the cash. They said as they were fleeing, the owner of the premises, the businessman, fired at them, injuring one in the foot. Despite this, both robbers, they say, managed to escape, and the authorities are pursuing leads. Yeah, this is where we are, folks. This is where we are. You stand up one place too long, them boys fetch you off. Fetch you off and out. Please and thank you. Y'all better be careful out there. Y'all be very, very, extremely, very careful. Please and thank you. We want y'all be around for a long time. I hope you all feel the same about me. I hope you all feel the same about me. How did we get there just now? We're rambunctious. This is a good thing. This is a good thing. They give you a little 5 years on your passport, the usual time. You also have quick 5 years is run out. And we just had an election. And we just had an election. Now your passport coming in. But 10 years, like your visa. 10 years. Yeah. That's good. You gotta run by the passport office. You know? 10 years, a little longish. Let's see how this is going to work out for us. This is a good thing. This is a good thing. I welcome it. Who vex? And some of you won't have to run home, too. Those of you who in the diaspora, I know some of you all rather come home when it's nearing the time for your passport to expire. Maybe it might be a bad for the family because they didn't see you every 10 years. You know, because every 5 years you come, you bring the little prags and so on. No, they got to wait longer. But I think it's a good thing. You know, Terrence Beaton, I think it's a good thing. 10 years, stamping your passport. We these big people now. He can't be just running up and down, up and down, up and down. What is it? You know, let's get only get a little more scratchy teeth. Look, y'all be careful who y'all see in this life. Y'all be careful. When you see him broad daylight, don't take a long stick to go look for it nighttime. If this man who claims he loves you, he beating up your family, imagine behind closed doors what he's going to do to you. I understand why the woman left. He wants to persuade her to come back. Because, of course, Valentine's around the corner, everybody feeling hot and bothered. And to do that, hear how inviting he's going to be. He's going to try to beat up a relative of the woman. Folks, hold on. I got to shine y'all on everything. Everything we got to shine y'all on. Hold on. And you know if you're in with the relatives, you're good to go. Huh? Is they got to say yes? Am I right or what? Ain't I right or what? The woman herself never says yes. No, the woman herself never says yes. When she tells your sister, your cousin, your aunt, your auntie, when she tells your mother, if mommy say yes, you gone clear. If your sister say yes, girl, I did it. She didn't say yes till now, you know. She say yes to she. She's saying yes for them. Or if you go beating up the people now. What is it? What madness is it? Well, you out like South. You out like South, seek help. Please and thank you. Seek help. Seek help. Much more the lady living overseas. He want visa wedding now. Living overseas, reported that her ex-boyfriend, one Jamal Paddy, has been threatening her family in Guyana since they broke up 7 months ago. You know what this will see that visa comes so close. And then you make a beeline now. On Sunday, they tell us that Paddy ambushed and attacked the lady's stepfather. Look, I can say she run him back here now. I said, Paddy, let me go. Let me go to front, Paddy. Brutally attacked the stepfather, one Godfrey Sutherland of Better Hope. Brutally attacked. My God. It's visa wedding. Paddy won. Visa wedding. Now is his after, folks. Visa wedding. And you think this can bring her back? Oh, you know nothing. You know nothing yet. Pamela Nelson said, Paddy, out of order. Paddy, you don't know. If you're in with the stepfather, if you're in with the sister, you got to go. Permanent resident, take one. No, not you. Not you, Paddy, not you. Yeah, look for them. She see you coming from a mile off. She did the right thing. Well, you all know we in this political season. Them boys promising you everything now. You want airport? Take airport. You want 4 lane? All right. I'll go back. Boom. That's what we're going to be talking about this evening. That's some of what we're going to be talking about. The fact that you got all these projects happening, all these promises being made, but the quality, right? You show me a coalition road that we built that broke it up. Show me a bridge that crumbling. Show me a culvert that about to cave in. And damn liar you are. We build those things to last. Not them boys now. No. It's everything. You watch them. Drove on the Heroes Highway today. Jesus, simulated waves. Simulated waves. They ask you to go slow down, you know. If you want to knock your head in the windscreen, you can slow down. 20 miles an hour. Please and thank you. Some of the roads there, we saw caving in. Right? Is it Delhi Street there? Prashad Nagar, caving in. Mike, hold. Road just complete. 2 weeks lifespan. Concrete. Gotta go again. What's going on? Municipal airports, you say, coming to Letem, coming to Babis. What did one for Linden? Should we be fixing that too? Linden no less in this country. We done the markets rehabilitation list. We done the airports coming list. Where are we? What is it? What is it? God damn it. What is it? Fed up of them. Fed up of them. Fed up of them. So we're following this. Lots of things happening. Lots of things happening. Look at this now. The folks at the American hostel, the conditions. Stop treating our indigenous brothers and sisters like second-class citizens in this country. I have the blood in my veins and I take offense of it. That you all treating them in this manner. And then 2 more mornings, y'all running on the corner saying, oh, we care. Well, show it. Fix the hostel, man. Pauline, stop gambling with the future of our indigenous brothers and sisters. Pauline Sukai. Gambling. Stop it. Please and thank you. Stop that. Fix the hostel. Aubrey Field. Aubrey say, if y'all think you're going to rig this, the nature of the struggle, Jagdio, has changed. The nature, and we're going to respond accordingly. If you think, I shut them out. Leader of the opposition, leader of the PNCR, Mr. Aubrey C. Norton, the seats for Compton.
Chairperson of the Guyana Elections Commission, Justice Claudette Singh, has ruled out the use of electronic biometrics for the 2025 elections. The call for electronic biometrics was made ever since the Granger administration was in office back in 2016. Justice Singh recently announced that she was seeking the services of an expert.
We welcome the recognition that experts should be hired to address the issue. The chair of GCOM is quoted as saying that the expert would be tasked with preparing a project document outlining all the technological, legal, financial, and operational issues involved. The question is, how did she arrive at the conclusion that it cannot be done for the 2025 general and regional elections when she lacks the technical knowledge?
Norton said that the proposal to introduce electronic biometrics after the 2025 elections is unacceptable. He accused the GCOM chair of acting as a biased arbiter.
The GCOM chair has now decided to dance around our position by proposing that the use of biometrics should be explored after the next election. That will not work. The integrity and credibility of the next elections cannot be held hostage to the bias and arbitrary decision of the GCOM chair when she lacks the requisite technical knowledge to so do.
The opposition is insisting that the electoral list is severely bloated. Another issue is the role of the Information Technology Department of the Guyana Elections Commission in the declaration of the results.
I know that our commissioners have been very vigilant, and it's as a result of the vigilance of Vincent Alexander that Gokul Budu was caught. Let me tell you what I think the government is doing. The government continues to suggest that the rigging occurred at the feet of the APNU AFC. They use their media, the Chronicle, which is its mouthpiece, and all of these institutions they call in news outlets. They do not carry the truth.
The vote recount revealed massive irregularities in the various parts of the country.
The People's Progressive Party are masters at thieving and covering it through the use of propaganda. And we have got to deal with that, because what they're trying to do, and they come with all these phony polls that they're going to get a landslide. I think the reason that they don't want biometrics is that they are planning a landslide. But this government must know that the peace in this society will be disrupted if they by any chance believe they will rig the next election and get away with it.
Yep, you heard it there, folks. You heard it there. I want to turn my attention to my guest this evening. I want to turn my attention to my guest this evening, the one and only MP Ganesh Mahipal. And we're going to be talking about some of the corruption, folks, some of the corruption that exists in the construction sector. And in particular, those persons who are being given these large, humongous, mega projects in pump stations to construct. And folks, my God, it's not a thiefing. It's not a thiefing, folks. Like nothing. Like nothing. Like nothing. And we've been laying it out for you. But we've uncovered some of what we're seeing, folks, some of what you already know. We'll be giving you folks an update as well. We're going to be giving you folks an update as well. Pace and power. The one and only, folks. Ganesh Mahipal, rock and come in. I am privileged to be joined by Member of Parliament Ganesh Mahipal and Shadow Minister of Local Government and Regional Development. And, we're in for a treat this evening because this discussion, Ganesh, it is set against Budget 2025. A number of things were rationalized through this budget. A number of programs are going to be implemented and continue to be funded under this budget. And some of them really leaves much to be desired. Ganesh, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Sherrod. It's always a privilege to be on your program. Good evening to you and to your entire viewership.
Excellent. Now, you and I, for the last 2 days, we've been between Region 3 and Region 4. You gave oversight to Region 3 on a number of issues, and some of that work, by its very nature, filters into Region 4. Now, some of these pump stations that we have been looking at in Region 3 and 4, some are known and some are not so known. Some are infamous, and some, as we said, really leaves much to be desired in terms of the work being executed on them. Take us from there, Ganesh.
Well, let me say first of all that these pump stations under construction, they are nothing new to the people of Guyana. In fact, it was you and I who first broke the story some 1.5 years ago when we visited several of these pump stations in Region 3, which includes the Bellevue pump station. That is the infamous one that was awarded to the Guyanese critic to the sum of some $800+ million. And we also visited the one at Canal Number 1, which was awarded to the tune of somewhere around $600+ million. We went to the one at A-Line at Versailles, which was awarded to the tune of $700+ million. We visited the one at Podroin, awarded for $700+ million also. And we also visited the one at Metamerzorg, awarded to the tune of, I think, somewhere around $900+ million or thereabout. And we have been keeping track of the progress of these pump stations because they are necessary. They are necessary to assist our farmers, to assist the low-lying communities to ease flooding. And a project of this nature and of these magnitude can happen now because we have oil resource. And Guyanese expect that these projects be done in a proper way. They
Yeah.
expect it to be done so that we can get value for money, and they expect it to be done in a timely fashion so that it can become operational and serve its intended purpose. Unfortunately, what we see at the Ministry of Agriculture, National Drainage and Irrigation Authority is first the issue of awarding these contracts. They are awarded to companies that are fly by night contractors. And because they are awarded to companies by fly that are fly by night contractors, we are currently in a conundrum. We are in this conundrum because after failing to meet several deadlines, the pump stations are basically at a standstill, and no one seems to have any hope in ensuring that it happens, it comes to fruition, so that the intended beneficiaries can actually benefit. And so far, what these pump stations, their construction have been doing is disrupting the lives of our ordinary Guyanese people with little penalty coming from the Ministry of Agriculture. Little penalty, little to no penalty coming from Zulfikar Mustafa in
Yeah.
holding these contractors accountable for the hundreds of millions of dollars that they have already pocketed to basically get these pump stations working. We look
Yeah.
at the Bellevue pump station that has been in the.
Ganesh, why not let us start at the other end of Region 3? We'll conclude at Bellevue, and then we'll talk about what we saw this morning, for instance, on the East Coast.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's start from the other end, which is at Metamir Zorg. That contract was awarded to Satar and Sons Construction. That contract is also behind schedule. We were there and we saw some work being done on the foundation. And we know that several fisher folk, you would remember, Sherrod,
Yeah.
indicated to us right there that they are
Yeah.
yet to receive their
Yeah.
fisher folk cash grant,
Yeah.
something that Zulfikar Mustafa has not addressed as yet. But that pump station is at a standstill also, standstill on the basis that we only see a little bit of work being done at the foundation level with no hope that they will complete it within even 2025. That is yet to be seen. We went to the Podrine pump station there at that's between Plantain Walk and Podrine,
Yeah.
and we see that nothing is really going on there, save and except some rusty sheet piles still being uh, placed there, but it's not. It hasn't been compact. It hasn't been pressed down. It hasn't been put into its right state, and we didn't see much happening there at Podrine either. And that one was awarded, I think, for 700 or 700 and no $900 million. $900 million, I think that one was awarded for. We move up the line and we came to A Line Pump Station. That's at Versailles. Absolutely nothing is happening there. In fact, that is the one where you see the green water inside, the stagnant,
Correct.
smelly and stink. Pale green water inside. That tells you how long that water has been there, and no work is going on at that pump station. That was awarded to Sifcon Engineering. I know that that one was terminated because of failing to meet deadlines, and it was awarded back to Eunice Construction. But I'm told that Zulfikar Mustafa pulled it from Eunice because Eunice Contracting is the contractor who failed at the Blackbush Polder pump station. So it was quite alarming that NP Tap went down the road to award this one to Eunice also, but
Yeah.
Zulfikar acted. But why
So
is he not
the
acting
The Blackbush pump station contract was taken from this entity, and they
from
now
this
get the
contractor?
award of this failing pump station here in Region 3.
Yes. And he
Wow.
was, so I don't know how he failed at one and how did they expect him to complete another one when he failed at one already. But it is
Ganesh,
alarming.
who are the contractors for the previous two?
The previous two, the first one that I talked about, which is at Metamirzor, that's Satar Mohammed and Sons Contracting. The one at Podrine, I can't remember the name is not coming to me directly right now, but it is in the public
That's okay.
space because I did make mention of the name sometime back in a previous engagement I had. This one here at A Line is Sifcon Engineering. which was terminated and then awarded to Eunice, and now it's taken away from Eunice. So it still has to go through back the phase of being re-awarded, so to speak. But the point I was making is, how can you have a National Procurement and Tender Administration Board knowing full well that these companies have failed us in the past, but you still continue to award contracts to them? That
Mm-hmm.
is what worries me, and that is what worries me about this system. And I've oftentimes said that once you have honest, decent, and hardworking people managing the system that exists, then we will get value for money. But we cannot have a robust system, but the people who are manning the system or managing the operations of the system are engaged in skullduggery and wrongdoing and favoritism. That will not help our cause. We move to the pump station at Canal number one. That is the only one that has shown progress from the
Yeah.
last time we
Yeah. And in
visited.
a
We
number of
see.
ways.
Yes, in a number of ways, because that contract also required the contractor to build a new multi-purpose center and also to build back the road. And we see the pump station, we actually see the green zinc for the shed. We actually saw progress there. We saw the red pump, the tail end or whatever you call it that goes to the river. But the point is, it is also behind schedule. And these projects should have not been behind schedule. Even though we saw progress there at Canal number one, it does not take away from the fact that a community was deprived of its multi-purpose center for over a year and more. It
Yeah.
does not take away from the fact that the road that provides egress and ingress to that community was disturbed for over a year and more. Vehicles could not go to the Bagottville Nursery School. Vehicles could not go in. Children were met with encumbrance. Children were met it was basically impossible for them
Yeah.
to have
Yeah.
free egress and
And the
ingress.
community did voice their concerns too.
Many times, many times. But the point I'm making is that yes, we may have seen some progress, but it came at the expense of the people, and that should not have happened. We moved to the Bellevue pump station, which is the one to the west bank of Demerara, the farthest end of the west bank of Demerara. That is the infamous one, as we both know. And we have seen absolutely nothing. $182 million, as Zulfikar Mustafa told us, was given to the contractor. Did we see $182 million worth of work there? That's the question yet to be answered. But
Yeah. Yeah.
what we do see is that this contractor, outside of his lewd and nasty behavior on social media, which I don't know if he believes that is supposed to be disturbing me or you or anybody, but I am not
It will not.
worried about that level of distraction. We are elected by the people for a purpose, and that's what we're doing. Holding this government accountable and guaranteeing, assuring our nation and our people that we are better than them. And I know that we are better than them. When we look at the Bellevue pump station, absolutely nothing has been done save and except to dig a hole and allow water to accumulate, becomes stagnant to the point where it's now stink and it's creating an environmental hazardous ground for breeding vector-borne mosquitoes and those kind of things. Vector-borne diseases and so on can be easily gotten there, and the people in the community gotta be worried.
Yeah. Yeah. Ganesh, when was this contract awarded to Pui?
This was awarded in 2023. Yes, 2023.
Yeah.
I think it was June or July of 2023. And it
Yeah.
was supposed to be
2024,
completed.
2025 now.
Yes.
And
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 we
Ganesh,
see no progress. And you know what I told Zulfikar
I
Mustafa,
was
I said,
coming there. Yeah. You did raise it in the
terminate the
National Assembly.
contract. You cannot have taxpayers' money going into the pockets of contractors and they're spending it gallivanting across the world, showing off progress report of what's happening in the mining industry. They seem to have engaged in mining now. Go showing progress report about this, about that. But we're not seeing any progress report about the Bellevue pump station.
Yeah.
We're not seeing progress report about all the projects that have failed under his watch, and you still have him enjoying taxpayers' money, using it for other purposes other
Yeah.
than what it's intended for. I told Zulfi, I said, terminate the contract. It is within your powers to do that because clearly timelines are not being met. Clearly, the contractor is displaying his inability to get the work done, even
Mhm.
though you're telling me that July is the entire contract period will be up by July. Why should we wait till July to terminate when you have seen that this contract is failing to meet other deadlines, to show us that he has completed the buffer dam, to show us that he has completed digging out the overburden, to show us that he brought up the concrete wall, the base is not there, the foundation, nothing is there. So you have plausible reasons to conclude that by July, this contractor will not meet the deadline to complete this project in its entirety. You have irrefutable evidence to show that he cannot reach the deadline of July of this year. So we don't have to wait until then. Are you telling me that the entire Bellevue area, the entire community that will be subject to the May, June rainfall, likely to be flooded from history, and you're telling me that you're willing to sacrifice all of that to wait until June to terminate the contract because that's the end of the contract period? You have irrefutable evidence to show that he will not be able to conclude it and complete this project. So terminate it now and take actions. Give it to another contractor and let the work go ahead. We should not be stymied with our progress and our development because you seem to have a favor or you seem to be a friend of this
Mhm.
particular contractor.
Contractors seem to be a favorite. Ganesh, you did ask the minister in the National Assembly about the percentage completion of the Bellevue pump station, and what was that response?
10%. He said
10%.
10%. I don't know what. I guess the 10% was to take an excavator and dig out the or to form that hole or to form that depression. You know, to dig out the overburden so that you
Yeah,
could have the actual space to work. I guess that was
yeah.
the 10%.
Yeah, and again, members of the public, this was a contract, as you heard, was awarded mid 2023. We were in 2025, heading to a 2 year mark on it. And MP Ganesh Mahipal said clearly this contract cannot be completed. The minister did say, Ganesh, I know you mentioned it earlier, that this $183 million, $82 million, it was used for mobilization. It was used for materials, sheet piles, timber, and so on. Did you get a sense of that being underground there at Bellevue?
I didn't see those things. I don't know if they were there in a corner tucked away or if it's been hidden from the public. I did not see those
How
things.
else will
And
be?
even if they were used for that purpose, what is the strength of
Mhm.
them knowing that they have been sitting there, if so, exposed to Mother Nature, probably filled with rust? Will it still serve the purpose intended? Will it still have that strength that it's expected to have at the time of usage? If you understand what I'm saying, when people are building their houses, they don't buy steel rods and just have it on the ground for 2 years and then suddenly decide, say, they're going to use it to build the
Yeah.
house. They,
Unless
they
you
don't
prove it.
expose the steel rod to Mother Nature, rain, sun, and what's not. They don't
Mhm.
allow it to get all of this rust, weakening it, depriving it of its intended or expected strength, and expect it to serve the same purpose. So even
Mhm.
if you did mobilize, and even if you do have materials there, will it be proper? And will it serve its purpose to give us the expected result?
Yeah.
Will it still be able to give us the lifespan this project, this pump station is expected to give us? If you understand what I'm saying. And these are
Yeah.
things that are common sense.
Yeah.
Nobody is going to have materials for 2, 3 years and expect it to give them the same strength. When you build your house with materials like that, and in a year's time you see the post start cracking, or you want to know why your house suddenly be on one side, you must understand why. You
to
have
pre-build it.
compromised the integrity of the project by having faulty materials or using
Yeah,
faulty materials for its construction. So even if the $182 million were used to get materials, having it sitting there for 2 years really and truly have compromised the integrity of the project if you still intend to use those same materials.
yeah. Ganesh, why do you think there is this reluctance to really apply whatever laws there is, rules and regulations to contracts that are woefully lagging? Like, for instance, the very Bellevue contract with this pump station, and it seems to be the modus operandi of the Ministry of Agriculture, the modus operandi of the Minister of Agriculture, Zulfikar Mustafa, in dealing with pump station contracts and contracts on the whole, because these aren't the only pump stations that are in trouble. The Metamirzog, the Bellevue, the Port Droid. You can go ahead and, Ganesh, touch on Jimbo Grove. You can touch on, pump stations elsewhere at Chesney, for instance, at Maikoni, and the list goes on and on and on. Pump stations delayed, pump stations that are behind, and everything you talk about in terms of denying the public the rightful uses of these areas due to encumbrances or what have you, protecting them from floods and the whole gamut of it. All of that is hard when you have contracts that are falling behind, contracts that are poorly executed, and all of that. Why this propensity of the minister and the ministry not to be businesslike?
Sharad, you have to be mindful of what is happening in our political landscape. And the talk of corruption is real. There are several opinions out there where people are concluding that corruption is so real that the People's Progressive Party has not the intention of addressing corruption. Most of these contractors are associated to the People's Progressive Party in one way or another. And we have heard, we have seen people make postings, we have received several complaints of contractors telling us, or from contractors telling us, that when they are awarded a contract, they are told that they got to get a 10% to go to Freedom House, that
Wow.
they have to make a deposit to Freedom House for their elections time. And so every award sees a contractor going into Freedom House and making a deposit. These are things that are told to us.
Yeah, this either the
Contractors
Freedom House or they
came
go
to
into the living
us,
room like Sue. They go into the
yes,
living
and
room like Sue. Yeah.
contractors complained bitterly as to how they have to compromise on the materials. They have to not, they're not given the profit they expect because they got to go make a deposit to this minister and that minister, and they got to reach at this place and that place and drop off a little piece there and drop off a little piece there. And because that kind of relationship is happening between contractors and the PPPC, you see that they cannot hold these contractors um, responsible, or they cannot take actions against the contractors because they don't take the people money.
Yeah.
They don't take the people money. So the people now believe that they are empowered. These contractors now believe that they are empowered because I don't pay my two piece where I got paid. So I could take my precious time. I could use the remainder money and go invest it in a gold mining operation, or I could take a trip to India or Canada or America, and I could not give a fudge about
Yeah.
what is happening with the project because I don't pay what I got
Yeah.
pay. Or
Yeah.
I will do a live program and I'm gonna cuss everybody out for the PPP. They're gonna sit down in Freedom House and laugh at it, and I believe to myself that I have done what is right. So
And
that
I've
is
been
why
paid
they're
for it.
not holding these contractors accountable. If you are going to have an attachment to these contractors in that sense and in that way, then of course the people of Guyana will suffer. The people of Guyana will remain low and poor because the government of the day sees no need to do what is right so that everybody, including you and I, can be lifted out of the nightmare we're currently in. They are comfortable because they are receiving their small piece that they have to give, and the
Yeah.
contractors are comfortable because they know they will not be held accountable because they don't do what they got to do. Corruption in Guyana is real, and corruption is the issue. I have said before, Sherrod, the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board ought to be fixed. Ought to be fixed. The Procurement Act of this country ought to be revised. It ought to be amended so that we can ensure we have a better procurement system. Majority of the issues, majority of
E-procurement?
majority of the issues that we have in our country, if we are to address these existing laws and we are
Mhm.
to monitor the people who are responsible for implementation, who are responsible for awarding these contracts, who are responsible for doing what is right, if we monitor them properly, then we are supposed to get results. And as soon as they slip up, as soon as they do something wrong, get rid of them. You don't forgive
Yeah.
and forget. You can
Yeah.
forgive, yes, you're going to get blessings to that, but you got to get rid of them because we have to have a clean system. We have to have a proper system. Your generation, my generation, and all the other generations to come, they want to have a robust system that is of limited corruption, possibly no corruption, because with no corruption there will be billions of dollars that we can afford to give to
Yeah.
the ordinary people, to lift them economically, to empower them, to educate them, to give them
Yeah.
proper
Yeah.
entertainment in the field of recreational
Yeah.
facilities and the like. If
Yeah.
we intend to develop our people and if we intend to spend on our people, we have to address the elephant in the room, which is corruption at the highest level.
Yeah, correct, correct. You know, Ganesh, I had the privilege of being in the National Assembly and hearing you quiz the Minister of Agriculture on these issues. And we could have taken this discussion in so many different angles. For instance, when we look at the charity pump station, we learned, thanks to your drilling of Zulfikar Mustafa, the Minister of Agriculture, Cute Zulfi, better known as Cute Zulfi, we learned that this pump station had to be redesigned from scratch. Why
That's
is that,
another
Dennis?
issue.
Why
That's
is that?
another issue. They took I think it was 500 or 600 million dollars, awarded it to Adamantium Holding for the construction of a pump station at Charity there, very close to the Pomeroon River. These pump stations require you to go beneath the earth's surface. So you have to dig out overboard and you have to go deep. I think 20 something or 30 something feet below the earth's surface. When they did that, the Pomeroon River started to the walls of the river broke away, flooding and what's not and what's not. But in all of this, are you not supposed to have a study done? Are you not supposed to ensure that the design, the
Well, you're
consultant
cursing them there
that
because they
does
don't
the
extend it.
design, that they're supposed to do geotechnical surveys, they're supposed to do soil testing, they're supposed to know the strength of the soil and how saggy it is or how strong it is, if it's solid mud or if it's pagasse or what's not. They didn't do any of that. And if they
Wow.
did and you still end up in this problem, then why do you still have them under your employ
Hmm.
receiving contracts? If
Hmm.
they did not, then why do you have them there? Get rid of them. These are people who are failing our nation, Sherrod, who are causing us to waste billions of dollars behind projects that are failing us. Now, can you imagine if we had saved those monies on these pump stations that have failed us so far? $182 million for Bellevue, 100 plus million dollars for A-Line, 100 plus million dollars for Charity, 100 plus million dollars for Blackbush Polder, 100 plus million dollars somewhere else, 100 plus million dollars somewhere else. Can you imagine how many times more we could have increased that cash grant from
Yeah.
$100,000 per family?
Correct. Correct.
From $100,000 per family, we could have possibly gotten $200,000 per
Correct.
family. Or
Yeah.
we could have possibly been able
For
to get a
individual.
better COVID cash grant than that $25,000 that
Yeah.
they gave, which many
Yeah.
people are still awaiting to get. Or we could have easily been able to do something better to benefit hundreds of people. But you keep wasting the resource, and they ask, where will the coalition get money to fund these projects that we have? It is simple. We can afford to have income tax threshold at $400,000. We can get to have minimum wage go to $200,000. We can get to or afford to give a 35% increase to all public servants simply by ending corruption in Guyana, by
Yeah.
simply having prudent financial management of our projects, by
Correct.
simply ensuring that we spend in a way where we get value for money. Not
Hmm.
throw away 100 million here, 100 million there, 100 million there, and don't give a damn about it. That's what this government is doing. They're throwing away hundreds of millions of dollars in a small pocket of people, friends, families, and favorites, and those monies could have been used better to uplift the lives of ordinary people in this
Yeah.
country.
Yeah. And another aspect of this, because as you said, so many tests were supposed to be carried out, a proper project pursued here with instances like the charity pump station that now they got to go and redesign the entire pump station. Lots of wastage here. And part of this discussion too, Ganesh, I really don't want to bore folks, because this is not one of those hot issues where people are swinging from the chandelier or the ceiling, is incurring costs for, for mobile pumps, for instance, because the project is delayed. So you got all of these costs that keep accumulating and accumulating and accumulating. Mobile pumps as against these fixed pumps that you are building. I mean, the corruption seems to be never ending.
Temporary fixed for big problems that are supposed to be fixed the right way in the first place. And all of these temporary fix, they come at an exorbitant cost.
Yeah,
Again the cost is bore by the people of Guyana. And
yeah,
if we did not have to spend money on all of these things, we could have possibly been getting better in terms of our cash grant, in terms of our school distribution, and all the other likes that are related socially for our upliftment. But
yeah.
they keep wasting the money at the top.
Yeah, very well. Let us circle back to one of these contractors as we conclude the Tupui group. I think it is. Now, our assignment today took us up on the east coast at Lusignan, because even though this contractor is failing at Bellevue, this contractor is still being given all the contracts. Talk to
Yes.
us.
So your viewing public should know that this very contractor was awarded from the Central Housing and Planning Authority a contract in the Bellevue, not Bellevue, sorry, Bellevue is still in my head, in the Good Hope area, the Good Hope Phase 1 and Phase 2 scheme for the development of housing projects. For the infrastructure development, Lot 5, he was awarded a contract of $688 million. What he is supposed to do with that $688 million contract is to clear the land, that is Lot
Ganesh,
5.
hold on 1 second. Bellevue was 800 plus $1 million, pushing $1 billion. That has been a colossal failure by every matrix, factual matrix, if I could quote Irfan. And now you're being given a $600 million
And he got
contract
this one
as
last year.
your penance.
Last year, this was awarded. This will make about a year now. Last year, March. Last year, March, it was awarded to him $688 million to do infrastructure work, infrastructure development at Lot 5, Good Hope, for the development of the Phase 1 and 2 housing scheme. Now, to let people understand what happens here is that the land has to be cleared. You have your boundaries. So his boundary is Lot 5, and he is going to have the demarcation. Where is Lot 5? Lot 5 now is bordered by two main access roads. One on the left, one on the right, depends on where you're standing, or east and west, north and south. They are bounded by those main access roads. internally now, you're to use your $688 million to build internal roads with foundation, gravel, loom, sand, whatever else you have to add based on the specs of the engineer. You're to build internal roads. You are to create drainage in the
Mhm.
area. You are to build culverts. All in all, you are preparing this land so that the people who are awarded house lots from the Ministry of Housing can actually locate their land. They can actually go and say, well, okay, 758 Good Hope Phase 2, this is it here, this is my own, Ganesh Mahipal. But
Yeah.
people cannot do that. They only have an award on paper because of contractors like these who have failed to deliver on what they were expecting to, what was expected of them to deliver. Infrastructure work, so that the last thing that one does is to run the electrical work in the scheme. Lot 1 is moving at a pace. Lot 2 is moving at a pace. Lot 3 is moving at a pace. Lot 4 is moving at a pace. We saw that, Sherrod. Lot
Yeah.
5 is the Tapui Group 1. Nothing is going on there. Lot 6 is moving at a pace, and you can go down. You see there's visual image to
Yeah.
show and prove
And we
what we're
saw folks
talking
working
about in
there. We
terms
saw
of the
folks on the ground
internal
working.
roads, what we're talking about in terms of the internal roads, the bridges, the culverts, and all the things that have to be done. And we see for Lot 5, nothing has been done. And this contract was awarded 1 year ago in the month of March. This contractor continues to fail this nation. This contractor yet enjoys billions of dollars in
Yeah.
contract, seems to
Yeah.
be in bed with the People's Progressive Party, and enjoys doing nothing else but travel the globe with
Oh
taxpayers'
yes.
money, and yet Guyanese cannot receive the benefits from the contracts awarded to him. But this government is holding on to him because he seems to be a prized collection. He seems to be a package that they will enjoy for elections period. Guyanese people ought to know better. Guyanese people ought to be aware of this convict, and they ought to take charge of themselves and don't allow politicians like those in the People's Progressive Party to come and lie to you, to lie frontingly to you, and expect you to give them their vote.
Yeah.
You gotta vote wisely. You
Yeah.
gotta vote wisely and send a strong message to the People's Progressive Party that you don't intend to embrace corruption like they are. You don't intend to embrace unaccountability the way they are. You don't intend to be opaque. You want transparency. You want accountability. You want good governance.
Yeah.
You want a group of people, young and dynamic, and who are ready to take the bull by its horn and lead this country into real transformation, real development, real accountability, real good governance, and take us to higher heights so that we can be proud and set a foundation for our nation so that your generation, Sherrod,
Yeah.
my generation, and the future generation can hang their hats and smile saying they have a good Guyana.
Yeah. And Ganesh, that's a powerful note for us to conclude on because, look, I hear people take us to task, the previous government. We didn't hold senior roles in that government, but we take it. Our backs are broad. They try to hold us responsible for what others did or didn't do, acts and omissions, and we can take it. This is the nature of the business. But by the same token, we got to hold the PPP to the very same standard, and that is what we do not see. We didn't even have the oil resources that its government have. And if we are to bury our heads in the sand and say nothing is being done, we'll be very dishonest to the Guyanese people. There are a couple of things being done, but when you peel that back and you read between the lines, when you read the fine prints that we've been reading them over the last 2 days, going out to these pump stations, seeing for ourselves what's happening on the ground, going out there to Lusignan, really and truly, Guyanese are being hoodwinked. Guyanese are not getting value for money spent.
I can't say it better than you have there. Indeed, with oil resource, we are seeing a couple of things being done, and rightly so, it ought to be done. Oil resource As I said in my budget speech, the blueprint has always existed. The road that is at the 4-lane road that they have there that they call the Heroes Highway,
Yeah.
from the Jumbie Board to Diamond, from Diamond to Busby Bridge, from Busby Bridge to Timeri, that has always been there since Fob's Burnham time. So any government could have done it. What we want is a quality piece of road, though. That is what we expect a government to give us. And that's what we did not get. All of these roads, we see them doing with concrete and asphalt in these internal communities with the abundance of oil resource. Any government could have done it. But what we want is quality roads, not
Yeah.
roads that you got to go and redo in another year or two times. We see reinforced concrete bridges. Any government could have all the infrastructure work. All the infrastructure work that is being done, any government could have done it. Once the resource is available, any government could have done it. So I am not going to be gullible, and I'm sure the Guyanese people are not gullible. You cannot measure progress by what any government could have done. You measure progress by the quality of work being done.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
quality of work we see right now is not expected from a government. We expect better, and we have to ensure that we get better. And we can only get better by putting people there who genuinely have a concern for the development of the nation, for the benefit of the generation and future generation. You cannot have people who only want to pocket for themselves and don't want to see others benefit.
Yeah.
Everybody has to get a cut of the pie. All Guyanese are entitled to enjoy this beautiful Guyana, and we can only do that by ensuring that the right leaders are put in place to hold everybody below him or her accountable for their actions.
Yeah, correct, correct, correct. Ganesh, let us end on that high note that the rising tide must float, not some boats, must float all
All
boats
votes.
until our next discussion. Thank you so much for coming by and clarifying all these matters for us here.
Thank you,
Thank you so much.
Sherrod. Thank you very much. And I hope that we get to go on more of these expeditions where we
Yeah,
go in
love it, love
search
it,
of
love it, love
corruption,
it.
find it, and expose it.
Thanks, Ganesh. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for us to this end this evening. After time and that's our program. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us, guys. It means a lot to us. You all stayed a little bit into the overtime. Thomasina, good to have you. Thomasine, Guyanese Patriot, good to see you there. Ginny G, folks, share the live, smash that emoji button, and we've been begging all night. Partner with us so that we can keep going. The link is there, folks. We accept whatever cards you have. Whatever cards you have, we accept you also. MMG, folks. MMG. Let me try to be brave and put it in there. We accept MMG too, folks. Please and thank you. And I think I have it there. Yep. Make sure it's the right one I'm sending you. Make sure it's right. Folks, thank you guys so much for joining us, for staying on with us. It means a lot to us. Please and thank you. Yep, and there it is. We're going to see you guys back on our next broadcast tomorrow. Have a fantastic rest of the evening. That's our time, good folks. And that's our evening. Peace out. Have a fantastic evening. And that's the last one. Stay safe.